Okay, this is a virtual tabletop called Virtual Battle Mat. And the idea is that it's a relatively simple, features light VTT with a couple of really important gimmicks. Let's go ahead and create a table here and I'll show you what it can do. There's a free version and a paid version. With the paid version, you have access to a lot more assets here in this catalog. Let's check out their sci-fi offerings here. So far, there's just a handful of maps here, but the creator is working with more and more partners to get more artwork into this catalog. So the first sort of main selling point of this VTT is that catalog. The second is that everything is shown in a sort of tilted isometric view to simulate you sitting at the table looking down at the map. Now, the first thing I might want to do is turn off this grid. So I would click on the grid settings here and then toggle this off. If I want that grid on, actually, I can turn it on and then go to this map scale in order to match the grid to the artwork. But for now, let's just keep it off. Next thing I might want to do is go to my tokens. And here I have some tokens that I loaded from a previous setup, but I want to add some new tokens. I'll go to Browse Library and go to their catalog and sci-fi to see what they have. Yeah, so you can import your own 2D tokens, but the catalog also contains these 3D models. I'll add just a few to this board and we see them down here. You would just drag and drop them over to here. Now, if you're clicking on the token and it's not doing anything, that's because you need to have this hand tool selected. And then once you do that, you can grab it and move it around. In order to edit the token, you would click on the name here and you can change the name, the size, as well as color overlay. You can lock the token in place, have only the GM control it, or have players control it. You can also change the display motif to flat, rounded token, or in 3D mode. You also have 4 statuses that overlay like this. So that's the idea, is that you have a simple virtual tabletop that gives you a sort of faux isometric view. This is not really rendered in 3D, which is in some ways a good thing because you're not going to have as much strain on system resources. We can also try the fog of war. We can turn it on all the way and then use the erase as well as the size of the brush to reveal to the players. Now I'm in GM mode, so I can see everything, but players logged into this game would only see what I'm highlighting here. There's a simple drawing tool. I have a color picker here on the top left, a ruler that uses units based on a grid, whether it's visible grid or not. The ping will do a ping animation for about 5 seconds before disappearing. There's also a Documents tab here on the right where you can add images, links, or PDFs. This also happens to be where all the files that you choose and upload are shown. Now, if I want to create a new scene, I would click the scenes icon on the bottom right and then click new scene. Give it a name, choose image. Again, I'm going to go to my library, and I did upload some stuff previously, but I'm going to go to catalog again. Let's see what they have under horror. Just 4 urban maps so far. Pop that in. I'm going to turn off the grid for now. Let me see what kind of tokens I can put in here. So here's a bruiser. He's a little too big. I'm going to scale him down. Let's add another token. Let's see what kind of monsters they have. So if you see this little diamond icon, that means it's only for the paid subscription level. This is pretty neat. I can see a lot of potential if you can get buy-in from more artists, because once you have a huge library, a GM can very quickly throw together a scenario. It just occurred to me that since this is not really a 3D render, you can take pictures of your own miniatures at this particular angle, making sure to throw some harsh light on top to create that shadow, and just import your own 3D looking tokens. But yeah, with the fog of war, you can also erase areas by squares or rectangles here. Now, at the time of this recording, the only way to create folders to sort all of these tokens would be to go to your dashboard and then click on tokens over here, and then click on this icon to create a new folder. Once you do that, you can grab them from this list on the top and drag and drop them into that new folder. I'll go ahead and show you the table that I've been working on for a personal game of Koreaborg here. Now, these maps were all drawn by yours truly, and I added these guys in here. These are the PCs, and I have a fog of war over this Korean village, and NPCs are this guy here and this guy here. Once they make it up to this temple, there's another NPC, and then if they enter this temple, it's actually an inverted temple, and they would start at the top here, and then they would go downward through the floor, formerly the ceiling. And you sort of, as you scroll along this map, you can see it sort of has a distortion to it, because again, you're looking from an angle at this map. Burgasari is the name of this creature from Korean folklore. And eventually they'll make it to this Japanese fortress over here. And I drew each of the 4 floors, and those are like this. And here are those enemies, rat swarm. Also, it's worth mentioning that when I actually used this VTT in a game session, the connectivity for my players was seamless, and the audio and video connection didn't have any issues. In the lead up to recording this video, I was getting bombarded by improvements and updates to the platform, including free token packs, premium token packs, and endless bug fixes and quality of life updates. I've even made some additional feature requests myself and seen some of them implemented within days. But I respect the creator for sticking to his guns and refusing to make this interface too complex or busy. And that is sort of what's at the heart of this thing. It's meant to be simple and to stay simple. It's not going to be for everyone. The Foundry-loving folks, for example, have developed an almost cult-like devotion to their platform, and others have invested way too much into their own walled garden to ever migrate. But I think if you're VTT agnostic and just looking for a light, fast interface to run your game, and you're intrigued by the illusion of the isometric view, then Virtual Battle Mat is worth checking out for sure. Just to give you a little more to look at in this video, I'm going to go ahead and flip through some of the tokens that are available. Let's see what they have under Apocalypse. 41 characters, which is actually more than what was available just a week ago when I checked. Commandos, scientists, survivors, lots of survivors. I can just select all of these and add them to a folder. Now, it's important to me to actually organize these things. I can't help myself. Now, you might be asking yourself, why not just have all of these tokens available without you having to add them like this and organize them? And I think that's because eventually there will be thousands and thousands of tokens, and you don't really want to have all of them in your personal collection. It would become unwieldy. So you can cherry pick them and organize them like this. I just realized if you left click on a model, you can get a nice preview of it, so that's nice. Again, these are not 3D renders. These are just static images of renders. But the creator of this VTT is getting more and more 3D sculptors as partners to contribute their models to this platform. Okay, let's see what they have under exotic. 9 clockwork tokens. Okay, under fantasy, there's going to be a lot. It's a whole lot. Let's see under this premium folder what we have. Skeletons. Okay, one other trick I figured out is that you want to create the folder in the dashboard and then select that folder before then going in and adding tokens to your personal library. So I've selected the fantasy folder that I made, and now I'm going into the fantasy library here, and then when I add one, it adds to that subfolder. There are actually a ton of maps as well. Military is not a huge collection just yet. 5 soldiers, 7 vehicles. These are top down, interestingly enough. Modern, we just have 9 vehicles so far. Again, top down. Natural, we only have 12 animals thus far. I'd love to see a full dinosaur collection here. Then sci-fi is probably the second largest collection. Some aliens, a number of characters, mecha and robots. These are nice. I'd love to see more of these. Spacecraft, also interesting. Top down again. I guess top down makes more sense for vehicles. If you're doing ship or vehicle combat, that would be pretty tricky to depict with the faux isometric view. And then here under premium, we actually have these top-down tokens that remind me so much of the Roll20 libraries that I've seen in the past. There's a whole lot of these. To be honest, I don't think these would mix well with the isometric style. You pretty much need to pick a style. But yeah, as far as maps, looks like there are 4 Apocalypse maps. These maps are pretty nice, very large. There are just a ton of fantasy maps, too many to go through, maybe 200 or 300. But a lot of them are just variants of the same map, which is fine. That could be very handy. Yeah, this is nice. The horror category of maps only has 4 maps so far. Modern has 26 maps at the time of this recording. Okay, here we have, this map is actually 3 that are stacked. The quality is good on these maps. There's a surprising number of maps for natural, a little over 100 so far. But again, these are variants of the same map. And then under sci-fi, just a handful. I'd love to see more spaceships, and I think that the collection will grow over time. Now, interestingly, this spaceship map is not an interior. Ah, here we go. This is the interior. Wow, this is a really nice ship map. Yeah, a lot of potential here. This is a very functional, very decent VTT so far. Oh, one last thing, there's a dice roller on the bottom left. Of course, you're going to be using. If you left click on a die icon, you can increase the pool, and then you hit play to roll it. You get some 3D dice, and they will show up in the chat down here. So that's nice. Remember to like and subscribe for more RPG goodness, and join the channel as a member for exclusive videos and content. Links for everything are below. I'll see you in the next one.